Hello and welcome everyone to the Ancient World channel. Today, we will not explore a mysterious and highly controversial figure in Chinese history. A person who once stirred public attention not only because of their unconventional background, but also by the bizarre, almost unbelievable personal stories. He was born into an ordinary family, with no perfect stepping stone to enter the upper class. But thanks to intelligence, cunning, and clever, bold tactics, step by step, he climbed his way up, even considering himself a pivotal figure in the court. However, what made him most notorious was a series of romantic scandals involving noble attendants, formidable rivals and covert plots to overthrow. Or was he truly a misunderstood genius, caught in the whirlwind of schemes and prejudices? Behind the glamorous facade, is his life hiding shocking secrets that would leave everyone astonished? It would be no exaggeration to say that he is the Chinese man who holds the most sensitive secrets of high-ranking female officials. Did those secrets lift him up, or were they the very root of endless deceit? Join us as we explore the turbulent life and fascinating surprises of this character. To uncover secrets never before revealed. Everything will be in today's video. At 8:30 p.m. on July 11, 2014, eager viewers passionate about economic programs were excitedly awaiting the live broadcast. This is the economic news and information on CCTV's financial channel. However, as soon as the program aired, viewers noticed something unusual. Usually, the show is hosted by a male and a female MC. But that day, only the female MC appeared at the sales point. Loneliness is the host, while the 4 discs are the performance of both. Notably, everything was completed just 1 hour before the show went live. The official Weibo account of the program has posted a confirmation notice stating that weightlifters Deng Yingying and Nguyen Tan Quang will co-host the show. Even as the waves crashed in, the microphone on Nguyen Tan Quang's desk remained untouched, proving that his departure was far too sudden and urgent, completely unplanned. React in time. However, the audience. According to information from James Sienna on July 12, Nguyen Tan Quang was arrested by the Central Technical Inspection Committee on the evening of July 11. Also arrested with him were Mr. Li Deng, Deputy General Director in charge of finance at CCTV, and a producer from the same television network. Spines. Nguyen Tan Quang had long been regarded as the pride of CCTV. Quang too. He has won numerous prestigious awards, including the title of Top 10 Best Hosts by China's Central Television, CCTV. Golden Microphone Award for the Best Radio Host and Presenter of 2010. And was once honored in the top 10 Chinese origin youth studying abroad who love animals. He is known for his fluent English skills and has had the opportunity to interview many prominent figures, such as the Australian Prime Minister, Ken Rurat, or billionaire Bill Gates. Yet, such an exceptionally talented individual was suddenly pushed to the sidelines. In the current context of China, if something unexpected happens, you can absolutely predict that other unexpected events will also become famous. And indeed, just a short time later, a series of shocking rumors spread everywhere. Rumor has it that Nguyen Tan Quang is the secret lover of quite a few wives of high-ranking officials. If officials openly sharing their extramarital affairs has become commonplace in China, the incident of officials' wives sharing the same male lover is something unprecedented. The issue isn't just about whether the wives are bold enough to commit adultery. Here's the natural English translation of your Vietnamese text. Nguyen Tan Quang is that man. He probably knows the most secrets about the wives of high-ranking officials in China. Right now, after a series of shocking scandals, where is he? Today, let's revisit this dramatic story. Nguyen Tan Quang was born in 1977 in Hap Phi Village, Anhui Province, China. A controversial figure in modern history. Nguyen Tan Quang's parents are ordinary civil servants at the Anhui Provincial Department of Culture. I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. Surname, while the son, Nguyen Tan Quang, carries the mother. In high school, Nguyen Tan Quang showed an imbalance in his studies. I was terrible at math and physics, but I made up for it by being extremely good at English. While my classmates were still struggling with basic grammar structures, the lover of Father Luat Lay, Nguyen Tan Quang matured early and was a person of clear principles. I didn't go through a rebellious phase like many others my age, when the boys were still engrossed in their playful mischief, making noise. The young man Nguyen Tan Quang boldly offered useful advice to the teachers. He even personally brought gifts to visit his teachers when they were hospitalized. While boys their age still shyly steal glances at the girls they secretly admire, Nguyen Tan Quang was ready to decisively end his first love as soon as he received a warning from his teacher. Early love can have a negative impact on your future. Therefore, the teachers who taught you in middle school and high school. He always gives the most sincere praise to this student. In 1995, at just 18 years old, Nguyen Thanh Quang passed the entrance exam for the English department at the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, with the title of valedictorian in literature of Hung Yen City. Even after entering university, he continued to diligently improve his English. Thanks to his eloquence, in 1998, he participated in an international public speaking competition held in London. Your opponents are native speakers from America and Australia, but Nguyen Thanh Quang surged ahead and secured an impressive fourth-place finish. It can be said that Nguyen Thanh Quang's school years were always brilliant and full of glory. Willpower, form. After graduating from university, Nguyen Thanh Quang faced 4 promising opportunities. You can take on the position of diplomatic secretary for a bank director from China. I joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and was awarded a full scholarship to study abroad at 2 prestigious universities in Japan and the UK. Or work as a reporter for the newly established English language channel under China Central Television. After careful consideration, Nguyen Thanh Quang decided to choose the 4th option. I believe that CCTV's newly launched English channel is an opportunity for me to showcase myself and advance in my career. But this time, he was mistaken. When I first joined CCTV's English channel, I was highly regarded for my pleasant appearance and fluent English skills. Nguyen Thanh Quang quickly gained trust and was entrusted with many key roles, serving as both a host and a reporter. However, it wasn't long before he realized the harsh truth was not as he had imagined. At that time, CCTV's English channel was broadcast for free in Europe, North America, and Africa. However, the program's content is mostly a translation from the Chinese version, lacking creativity. Although the English-speaking broadcasters have excellent pronunciation, the propagandistic content of the program makes it difficult for foreign audiences to accept. Lack of proper attention resulted in an extremely low viewership rate. Realizing the surrounding environment was not suitable for him, Nguyen Thanh Quang couldn't help but feel regret. I realized that if I stay in such an inefficient department like this, my chances of promotion will be very slim. But how can I escape this situation when I don't have any connections at CCTV? At CCTV as well as other state agencies in China, all operations are run according to a top-down power hierarchy system. Therefore, to succeed, you need to choose the right path and persistently pursue your big goal. Choose your side wisely, you. While Nguyen Thanh Quang was still hesitating, he unexpectedly received support from Quoc Tran Hai, a highly influential figure. He is considered one of the most powerful tycoons in Taiwan. CCTV God of Men. Any company that wants to air on CCTV must wholeheartedly serve him like a deity. Guo Zhenqi was also widely known for the blacklist and red list he created. 3.15 Gala. This program first aired in 1991. This event is held annually on March 15, International Consumer Rights Day. The stated goal sounds quite lofty, to protect the interests of Chinese consumers and point out the violations committed by businesses. However, in reality, this program is on the blacklist. If a business is willing to spend money, no matter how large the amount may be, it's still possible to be removed from the blacklist. But if that business refuses to pay, they will continue to face public criticism and reputational damage until the reputation collapses completely. Alongside the blacklist, Quoc Tran Hai also holds the red list. Specifically, here is the list of 10 outstanding economic figures of the year. Another highly effective money-making tool. Just as long as the business contributes enough, even if it's an unknown entrepreneur. Here are the natural English translations for the given Vietnamese texts. A prime example was in 2011. Here are the 2 English translation options, corresponding to the original Vietnamese versions. Among them was Wang Jiaoming, from Inner Mongolia. In 2009, he founded a small company named Mong Thao Eco. And this company relies entirely on state budget funding. Never made a single penny in profit. In 2011, his company didn't even qualify as a small business. However, Wang Jiaoming handed over the entire bet amount to Guo Zhenqi. Our company's price is only 2 million Chinese yuan. After being honored as the outstanding economic figure of 2012, his nonprofit company was unexpectedly listed on the stock exchange through a fund. The futures contract value reached 2 million yuan, equivalent to 7 trillion dong. Guo Zhenqi has increased his assets to an impressive 40 million yuan, equivalent to 140 trillion overnight. Immediately, Mr. Quoc sold off his stocks to lock in profits. In 2014, when Guo Zhenqi was arrested, Chinese media reported that he had profited illicitly. In his 8 years overseeing the finance department at CCTV, he managed approximately 2 million yuan. Returning to the story of Nguyen Thanh Quang, he is one of the people chosen by Quoch Tran Hai. Mr. Quoch remarked that Nguyen Thanh Quang has a remarkably sharp and fluent ability in calculations. This is the perfect choice to enhance the beauty of your face at international scale events. For Nguyen Thanh Quang, having a powerful older brother to rely on was an incredible stroke of luck. Guo Zhenqi being honored is a tremendous source of pride. The two quickly became close friends. Thanks to the support of Guo Zhenqi, Nguyen Thanh Quang attended the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, as a representative. As a correspondent representing CCTV, here, he interviewed many famous figures from around the world, like former President Bill Clinton, billionaire Bill Gates, and heads of state and prime ministers from many countries around the world. After the interviews, Nguyen Thanh Quang once stated, "In traditional Chinese culture, there is a famous saying, 'While attending the Davos Forum, I had dinner with a close friend.' How the world came together to overcome the global financial crisis. Thanks to the invaluable support from Guo Zhenqi, Nguyen Thanh Quang quickly established his position and became an indispensable key figure. Of the economic programs on CCTV, he was merely a faint shadow beside Mr. Quoch. They often appear together at most events. Nguyen Thanh Quang quickly expanded his network for the wealthy upper class and nobility. At the same time, it is essential to actively participate in international conferences and events. Along with Bak Kwa Kwa, the son of Bak Hai Lai. Not only that, but he also built close, intimate relationships with many influential figures. Here are the two translation options as requested. Li Dong is the daughter of Li Trongzan, and Lu Luafi, the son of Lu Yunshan. Nguyen Thanh Quang also proudly boasted that Prime Minister Li Keqiang and I were high school classmates. At the pinnacle of fame, Nguyen Thanh Quang released his autobiography. Alongside the journey from an ordinary person rising to fame, he became a shining example for millions of Chinese students to follow. Not only that, Nguyen Thanh Quang is also considered one of the pioneers. Use social media to spread love for the country. In 2007, he shared a post on his personal blog titled, "Demand Starbucks to Leave the Forbidden City." In the article, he noted that the emergence of foreign coffee brands opening a Starbucks store in the Forbidden City is an act of disrespect toward Chinese culture, and demand that this brand leave immediately. Your post was quickly shared widely. This incident has shocked public opinion, while also elevating his personal influence to a higher level. Demanding Starbucks to leave the Forbidden City. The video has attracted over 500,000 views. Even this proposal became one of the hot topics discussed during that year's bicameral session. As a result, Starbucks officially withdrew from the Forbidden City, facing a globally renowned brand alone. And success brought Nguyen Thanh Quang even more glorious achievements. Working as a host for China's Central Television, CCTV, he quickly became a leading voice in public opinion. Honored as a leader who guides public opinion. From then on, Nguyen Thanh Quang rose to a position of nobility, living a life of wealth and privilege. His confidence brimmed over, and his manner of speaking grew increasingly arrogant. In 2010, at a press conference held after the G20 summit in Seoul, the capital of South Korea, U.S. President Barack Obama announced he would reserve the final question for the South Korean press. Nguyen Thanh Quang quickly let go of his hand. Once, Obama mistook you for a Korean reporter and invited you to ask a question. But as soon as he opened his mouth, Nguyen Thanh Quang said, "I am Chinese, but I believe I can speak on behalf of the Asian community to raise this question." This statement left the entire audience bewildered. Obama and the journalists present at the scene all felt confused and uneasy. However, afterward, CCTV and the Xinhua news agency praised his actions. He believes he is spreading China's voice and expressing his patriotism. A segment of patriotic netizens can't even be bothered to acknowledge the fact that the right to ask questions is reserved for Korean reporters. They still never stop praising Nguyen Thanh Quang. 1 year later, at the Davos conference held in Dalian, Nguyen Thanh Quang once again stirred controversy by mocking Gary Luckey, the current U.S. ambassador to China. He shared that Mr. Luckey deliberately chose economy class tickets when traveling to China as a way to remind himself that China is the largest creditor of the U.S., so it must spend cautiously. This action has not only sparked outrage in international public opinion. The passage also shows that Nguyen Thanh Quang is becoming increasingly arrogant and conceited. thinking they can easily manipulate public opinion with just a few words. However, the arrogant will surely fail swiftly. In 2014, when his career was at its peak, Nguyen Thanh Quang experienced that. He was unexpectedly detained by the Central Inspection Commission. All domestic media outlets remained silent, while millions of his former fans immediately turned their backs and walked away. As if Nguyen Thanh Quang had never existed in this world. The atmosphere shifted abruptly from a blazing flame to an icy chill, so sudden it was almost unbelievable. And that is a distinctive feature of today's Chinese society. Do you know what wrong Nguyen Thanh Quang has done? And from scattered bits of information, people gradually pieced together clues. A month ago, the provincial governor of Hai was also arrested. This immediately caught the online community's attention. Nguyen Thanh Quang's mountain of axes has collapsed, and his position has become shaky. But the reality is far more complex than what people usually think. 3 months passed, a foreign newspaper published an article revealing that China's Central Television, CCTV, the state broadcaster, is a battleground for covert power struggles filled with intricate schemes. The relationship between Quoc Tran Chi and Nguyen Thanh Quang has always been considered very close. Hand and foot may sound close, but in reality, they have nothing to do with each other. The truth of the story is this. After Quoc Hai Town assigned Nguyen Thanh Quang to oversee CCTV's financial supervision. At first, Nguyen Thanh Quang was extremely grateful and utterly loyal to that person. However, when Nguyen Thanh Quang became the center of attention, his attitude began to change. The more secrets you hold and the more powerful connections you have. Nguyen Thanh Quang is becoming increasingly arrogant, always believing he belongs to the upper class. Nguyen Thanh Quang is no longer satisfied with being the youngest. I want to hold real power, controlling both the blacklist and the red list of Quoc Tran Hai. But Quoc, with his shrewdness, did not want to confront an ambitious subordinate directly. He agreed to let Nguyen Thanh Quang participate in a blacklisted program. But after that, she didn't give him any more chances. Nguyen Thanh Quang is angry at himself for that. He began collaborating with Li Deng, another subordinate of Quoc, currently serving as Deputy General Director in charge of finance at CCTV. They plotted together to overthrow Quoc Tran Hai and seize control. Nguyen Thanh Quang even exploited his reputation and incited students to write denunciation letters addressed to then Deputy Prime Minister Li Kak Quang. Not long after the letter was sent, Guo Zhenqi was arrested. But what led Nguyen Thanh Quang to fail was his failure to realize he was merely a pawn in someone else's grand chess game. At that time, Quoc Tran Hai had a close relationship with the planning department. Former head of the Central Office, later serving as Minister of the United Front Work Department of China. The wife of Ling Jiwa, Mrs. Jiu Liping, was also a key figure in Guo's network. Ko Lap Bin manages several non-profit organizations, but in reality, she exploits her husband's position to profit from major corporations. After the plan order was arrested in late 2014, Ko Lap Bin also met the same fate. Quoc Tran Hai, despite having close ties to the Lin family, still couldn't escape. Nguyen Thanh Quang, who claims to be the standard bearer, is in reality just another victim in this ruthless political purge. According to multiple sources, Guo Zhenqi, who was once Nguyen Thanh Quang's support after his arrest, has exposed the illicit relationship between him and Jiu Liping. Ko Lap Bin is 15 years older than Nguyen Thanh Quang, but between them remains an ambiguous, unclear relationship. When this information spread, social media and news channels immediately erupted. According to some court reports, Nguyen Thanh Quang tearfully defended himself, claiming he was as naive as a young rabbit and was coerced by Ko Lap Bin. However, another source revealed that he admitted to having relationships with over 20 women who were the wives of high-ranking officials, even keeping video evidence. This information left the officials both worried and angry, but they were forced to address it discreetly to prevent worse consequences. Some officials deliberately accused Nguyen Thanh Quang of espionage to ensure he would face severe punishment. Nguyen Thanh Quang was sentenced to 6 years in prison, a much harsher penalty than initially expected. The embezzler stole 2 million yuan but was only sentenced to 3 years in prison, exposing a complex web of hidden connections involving high-ranking officials, leaving him cornered. In 2020, after completing his prison sentence, he was reportedly working for a real estate company in Hong Kong, raising suspicions about his extensive network of connections. However, his subsequent disappearance suggests that he may have decided to live in seclusion, away from the public eye. The story of Nguyen Thanh Quang is a vivid testament to a career that, though brief, was brimming with talent and impact. From a talented young journalist, He quickly rose to the pinnacle of his career with the backing of influential figures. But those very relationships also plunge him into the abyss of despair. Can Nguyen Thanh Quang make a comeback and create another miracle, or is what he left behind merely a cautionary tale for the ambitious? The mysteries about him, the stories hidden behind that dazzling brilliance, perhaps have not truly come to an end. What do you think about this highly dramatic story? Is this a valuable lesson or an unavoidable tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. It's time to say goodbye, and I